Hello, we're back for yet another part of this character customizer mini devlog series. Hopefully this one's going to be a chill one. I plan to just stay in Unreal Engine, not touch Daz or Houdini tonight, and just do a bit more work on our, well, everything we have in here to mess around with, I suppose. Our customizer UI, camera presets. But I think I'm going to start with just putting some better textures on this character now that it's got clothes on. So I've imported some textures. These aren't the best textures in the world. They are from, I think, Genesis 9's sort of base textures. They're designed to be somewhat androgynous, I suppose, not quite male, not quite female. But I'm going to use that as the base, and then somewhere down the line I plan to allow users to select from a number of preset skin complexions, I suppose, and also adjust the skin tone using the physical skin shader setup that we have in DTH. Also adjust things like eye colors and various other things, but for now anyway, I'm going to assign these textures. You'll recall, I think way back in part 1 when I was setting up the materials for our character in Houdini, I set the UVs up so that they were arranged in a texture atlas, so I have the texture to reflect that. Hence I only have the one body material that'll work for everything except the head. And the body texture is 8K, or 4K textures packed, and the head texture is 8K on its own, so we get better texture resolution for the face, which is generally what you want. So let's start with the head. Going to try and get the specular and roughness to match up a bit better. That'll do for now. I want to introduce some facial animations. I know next to nothing about the animation features of Unreal Engine, really, very little. So I'm going to do it the way I know. There's probably newer, fancier, better ways of doing it with motion matching or whatnot. I haven't had a chance to look at any of that yet. I'm going to use a couple of state machines. One for the body and another for the face. I'm going to blend the face animation on top of the body, and we'll do it from DTH as a bone called face root. So I'll do it from that bone down. Also got a really good tip from someone whose name I can't remember, sorry, on a YouTube comments in one of the videos about how we can do away with having to have individual pins here and just feed the curve map directly into the curve modifier, so definitely keen to explore that. If not tonight, then somewhere down the track I'll definitely look at that. Also had some suggestions on how we can automate a lot of the UI construction just based off of a map. So have the slider controls automatically spawn when the widget's created based on the curves that we define in the curve map type arrangement. Not sure if I want to do that specifically yet. Maybe I'll have a think about that, have a play with it, but definitely keen to just be able to feed a single curve map in here and not have to remember to come and connect them every time I add a new curve. Would be good. So should have some facial animation now, if that worked. Which we do. We do have the tangent problems that you always get with eyelid blinking. We should be able to fix that by going into our face mesh under LOD0 we will recompute tangents for the head. Should solve that. Alright, now I think I'm going to play with the camera presets to try and solve that autofocus problem. I was thinking about how I wanted to do focusing. In the first time I put something like this together, I just hard-coded the focal distance. I suspect I'll end up doing that again. I was considering doing an autofocus setup where, you know, we fire a beam, if you like, from the camera or trace a line, and wherever it hits on the character, that becomes our focal distance. The problem with that is that we would need to either add a physics asset to this character, which I don't really want to do. Physics assets aren't going to conform with our full body morphs really. Or if we did want to go to that route, we could enable per poly collision. I did try that and I couldn't get it to work particularly well, and it's also, I think, a fairly significant performance hit. So I think for now I'm just going to hard code focal distances, but I'm going to do it all in a bit more robust setup, I think. So what I want to do is I want to control the zoom, I guess, from the customizer blueprint, but I don't want to control a rotation. I don't want the camera to rotate because I don't ever want to be I don't ever want to, eventually I'll click the right thing. I don't ever want to be looking from the back of the character. Oh, sorry, let me rephrase that, because I do want to be able to look at the back of the character, but I don't want to look at it from the dark side of the character, I guess. So rather than rotating the camera will always stay in this rotation. Instead we're going to rotate the character itself, so it's always being lit from the front. Hopefully that makes sense. So where to start? Most of it will be happening in here. One thing I'm going to need is a reference to our prototype blueprint. Expose that. Okay, so we have that. The other thing I was thinking is, because we'll have short and tall morphs, presetting the height of the camera directly is going to be a problem. So I think rather than doing that, I'm going to base the preset height off a bone as a starting point and then have some sort of offset so I can fine tune it. So we have our body preset and our head preset. what I'll do is change position to offset. For the body, we'll aim at the pelvis, I guess. For the head, we'll aim at the head. So get our and just get those skeletal meshes directly, I wonder. Matter, I suppose, which one I target. They're all they should all have the same skeleton. Get skeletal mesh dash at head. I could get it by name. Surely I can get it by name. Can get it there. Is it because it's the scene root? I don't want the mesh asset, that's why. I just want the component. Alright, that makes sense. So we'll look up the location of the target bone. Should now be zeroed out, I think. Our x-axis will be our zoom. Attach a sphere to our camera just so I can see it in the viewport. That's not what I want either. I want offset. Should be minus 50, 500, sorry. So the zoom's working. Probably gonna get the order of these wrong, but I'll do that for now. Okay, so horizontal's working. Alright, that looks better. So now, even though our character's body animation is making the head sort of move side to side, the camera should keep it centered, albeit with a slight delay. We could adjust the lerp speed if we wanted to. But it'll also mean when we have our shorter, taller morph, it should track, but we do need that offset, so for the head, could just do it this way, I think. Did the wrong one. Way too much. So move the body down a bit too. Pretty good. Eventually I'll tidy all this up, collapse it into a function or a graph. For the rotation, so as I said, we're going to rotate the character. Rotator. should do nothing. Yeah. Wrong way. Just got a little bit of a side on profile for customizing the head. Alright, now we want how do you spell aperture? I don't know. I don't think that looks right. Both will be floats. How do I set the aperture? Spell it right, it's that easy. So, for our body, I guess the focal distance can be same as the zoom as a starting point. I don't know, for the head we'll make the aperture a little larger. Looks pretty good. Let's Eliminate a few of these wires. I often spend far too long obsessing over blueprints, layouts. That'll do for now. It's better than it was. Hopefully I didn't break anything. Alright, so with that basic setup in place, Oops. Just curious, I'm just going to try something, don't know if this will work. be. Right. I was wondering if there's a way to just have one of these and listen for any category changed event rather than it being tied to a specific button. There probably is a way with interfaces, potentially. Don't know why I can't cast. Alright, we'll come back to that some other time. For now, I guess I'll have to do it this way. As you can see, I have much to learn about blueprints. So you can now add 2 more presets. Glutes. Also pelvis for the target bone, breast for breast, spine 04, don't know, try that. So we need to come down and out. Oops. Large aperture on the head still. Eventually we'll change to we'll change the animations based on the category, I think, as well. I need to recompute tangents on clothing, some weird shading. Some weird shading on that. Pretty much anything that gets morphs applied, I tend to recompute tangents on. Yeah. Seems to have fixed it. Alright, what next? Do our tall, short setup, but the problem is we will have the morphs for them, but our skeleton won't have the pose assets for them. In fact, the skeletons, these are the, I think I mentioned somewhere in one of the parts early on, there's a bug that was introduced in 5.3, carried through to 5.4, where in 5.2 I used to be able to see all the pose asset curves on the skeleton. Now I can't. They are there because they're working, but they don't show up. Neither do any of the control curves that you import from Houdini. These are there because, if you recall, way at the start I copied the Genesis 9 archetype skeleton, which was built in 5.2, and they sort of carried through. It's a bit annoying. It means I can't clean up curves that I don't want anymore. There will be some pose 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. curves in there, and I used to just go in and filter them and delete them, but because I can't see them as of 5.3, I can't do that, which is annoying. But worry about that later. That's the general problem, not related to this particular project, I suppose. Called it. That's annoying. I called it short, but I called it taller. Doesn't really matter. We'll do what the kind person on the YouTube comments suggested. We'll get to it, I swear, at some stage. But for now. So here's one of the places I do see all the curves, which just not particularly useful to me. All these curves that don't show up on the skeleton, including all of our pose asset ones. Now we're not going to have one for... we will have one for short. But we're not yet going to have one for tall, because tall didn't exist at the time we imported our don't know, I have both tall and taller. That's weird. Sorry, my brain's jumping around all over the place. So our short's working, but our tall obviously won't. I have no idea I have a tall and a taller. That's odd. Somewhere along the line I renamed it in Houdini, I guess. Possibly our very early version of our character had tall. Really sucks not being able to see things like I used to. So that's taller. Don't know where tall came from. Anyway, it should be taller based on our names. Anyway. So to get taller working, I basically have to redo the full body pose asset. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll find out. I'm going to delete it, which is a bit scary. Go back to one of these. It shouldn't matter which one, as far as I know. Taller. Also have our logo set, which I forgot about. See, all these code names will be on the skeleton somewhere, and I would normally clean them up, but if I can't see them, I might have to write a utility blueprint to sort that out. To our animation blueprint, I'll need to hook this up again. Full body morphs. Theoretically, that should work. Moment of of truth. See, that's weird. They've gone out of sync. They're all screwed up. Damn. It's hard to see what's going on without. Without being able to see things, the curves. Yeah, I don't know why now that is now driving both heavy and muscly. And feminine in the negative. Jeez, everything's screwed up. So it's probably a good idea why it's probably the reason, sorry, why it's a good idea to finalize your ROM before you get this far into things. Alright, I'm going to do something drastic. Can't think of another way. Yeah. It'd make me do it all one after the other. There's probably a batch way of sorting this out. interesting. Export our base character. I'll be back when this is finished. Alright, I'm back again, having re-exported our base character. That is the one that wasn't modularized. Well, I exported it as a single mesh. That's not what we're seeing in the viewport, sorry. We are seeing our modularized one again. Just trying to figure out what was going on, and I think well, two things I think. The first thing is there is a bug in DTH when you're exporting separate shapes for each body part that I only just discovered, so I'll get that fixed. And let me just explain what the bug is. So if we have a look at our pose asset animation when the character was exported as a whole character, if we have a look at the very first frame, frame 0, the first pose, which is our feminine pose, has a 0 value. So the feminine pose doesn't kick in till frame 1. But if we have a look at the same animation when it was exported as a separate shape, you'll see that the feminine pose starts on frame 0. What it basically means is DTH isn't adding the rest pose at frame 0 when the pose asset animations are generated from separate shapes. So that's a bug I've got to fix. What that essentially means is when we are pasting in our pose asset names, all the names are offset by 1 frame, so we're getting the wrong things being driven, the wrong morphs being driven for the poses. So that is one problem. So it means I need to regenerate my full body morph pose asset off this animation sequence and not this one. So again, this one was generated by exporting our character from Houdini, not as separate shapes, just exporting the entire character. That will give us that rest pose on frame 0. The other thing I suspect was happening is, and because I can't inspect the curves on the skeleton like I used to be able to do, I can't verify this, but I'm wondering if it's, instead of just overriding the full body morph pose asset curves that already existed on the skeleton, I'm wondering if it's just creating new duplicate versions. I don't know, like I say, I don't think I can inspect that enough to see. So anyway, the fix that we've sort of done is we've grabbed a clean copy of our archetype skeleton, and so we now have this, and this shouldn't have any of the pose asset curves on it already. So what I'm going to do is just grab all the existing pose asset curves and replace the skeleton with our prototype skeleton, and that should add any missing curves to it. Hence it didn't have our physics curves, so it should have added those now. And I also had a genius, I think what is a genius idea of how I can make this a lot easier next time. Possibly, we'll worry about that later. So now I need to convert this back into a... I don't know why it does that sometimes. We need to convert this back into a pose asset. So I want to grab my names. So yeah, the first of the names is the rest pose. So we can do that seems to be working. God, I hope it works. So much for a chill stream. I'll keep that for now just in case. So we now need to go into our animation blueprint and just reassign the full body morph. Shit. I forgot all of our freaking animations will need to be reassigned. I hope it doesn't make me do these one by one. Let's see. Play skeleton. Struggling. Come on, you can do it. Alright. Fingers crossed. Don't have at all. The others are working at least. Oh, I know why we don't have it all. Hey. Yeah, I'm happy with the camera tracking. Going out of some lighting zone there. Looks good. Might want to speed that up a bit, that tracking. But really, when you're zoomed in the head, you're not going to see these morph options. You're only going to see the ones that are relevant to the head. So it's probably not that important. Also realized in our character we are the the legs are still visible because we haven't done our slot ownership setup yet, so the legs are under these pants. So I can just clear the legs. Get that poke through. Alright, sorry about that stuff up at the end, but interesting learning exercise and bug I have to fix in DTH, which I will probably get onto tomorrow. But I feel like we got a fair bit done tonight rather. So happy with the progress so far. I think in the next one we will set up our outfit swapping mechanism somehow, just to rough it out and carry on from there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.